What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the DreArea Sports Show. I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Sterling Bennett, host of 49ers Access Podcast. Sterling, what's up, dude?
I'm doing good, man. It's a Friday afternoon. A little bit of Niner talk to get into, and I'm happy to be here with you, Dre.
Absolutely, and we have a lot of stories we're going to talk about when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, obviously, right now with the 49ers, news is kind of slow to come out, but we have quite a bit we're going to cover today, some of which was what we covered yesterday with Aaron, but I want to get Sterling's perspective as well. Guys, if you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a member over on Patreon. If you go down below in the description, you'll see the link to the Patreon. Memberships, or I should say, tiers start as low as $2. And you get access to videos, news, updates about the Giants, the Niners. You get articles from my good friend Drew, who put one up about the NBA Finals. So definitely check out the Patreon down link below. And guys, remember, we're also brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save $20 on your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. We're also brought to you by BetUS. Use promo code DreArea Sports, and BetUS will match you up to 125% on your first 3 deposits only when you use promo code DreArea Sports. BetUS, it's where the game begins. And then we're also brought to you by Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase over at Power Brand Systems. They will design and build you a website to fit your needs for your small business, large business, social media account, or YouTube channel. You want proof of that? Go to my website, which is made by Power Brand Systems, which is at nicotina.net, and has the homepage for all 3 of my YouTube channels, including DreArea Sports. Memberships are available on the website as well, and that gives you access to exclusive content and the online community as well. So definitely check out nicotina.net. So as we break into our topics, I have to ask. I absolutely just have to ask you. The Rafael Devers trade. I haven't had a chance to say what's up, to talk to you about this. What a fucking trade for the San Francisco Giants. I have to get your take on this. What did you think about the Rafael Devers trade?
It blew my mind. I know it isn't Niner related, but as a Giants fan myself, I was at my father-in-law's house for Father's Day. He's a big Dodger fan, and I wanted to jump for joy, and I was like yelling in his face like, look what we did! Look what we did! We got Rafael Devers. And so I was really excited. We gave up nothing for him.
Nothing!
Letting go of Harrison and Hicks, guys who you like, but just didn't really do much for you in their short time in San Francisco. Some rather, I guess you can say, lower level prospects that may or may not be good, but the odds aren't very high they're going to be. This was a massive fleece. I am so happy that the San Francisco Giants can take advantage of the dysfunction that has been the Craig Breslow Boston Red Sox. This is an awesome deal for the San Francisco Giants.
Absolutely. When I read this, I got a notification from Bleacher Report, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? I thought I read it wrong. I was like, wait, no, that's not really what I read. What is this? And I thought, holy shit. It's being compared to the Luka Doncic trade. That's how big of a trade this is in comparison to what they're getting back. You're going to get Jordan Hicks, who's Jordan Hicks. You're going to get Kyle Harrison, who, I'm sorry, both these guys I don't mind losing because I'm getting Rafael Devers. Yeah. And then James Tibbs, a good prospect, a first-round pick, but see you later. And then Jose Bello, I don't even know who he is. Now, it's crazy because initially they wanted Bryce Eldridge, but the Giants stood pat and said, no, we're not trading Bryce Eldridge. If I was talking about this on my Wednesday show with Drew, I feel like if Farhan was still on the team and Farhan somehow was able to make this trade happen, he would have lost Bryce Eldridge, for sure.
The difference is that Farhan, like every other big superstar he tried to sign, not named Carlos Correa, who then backed out of, would never have got this far. He would have been the other 3 teams. Oh, they were finalists, and they just wouldn't part ways with that top guy. Kudos to Buster Posey and
thank you, Tommy.
Zach Manasian out there, the Giants GM. They were aggressive. They were persistent in not parting ways with Eldridge, and also persistent in getting a deal done, constantly calling Craig Breslow, trying to get him on the phone and just work this thing out. And sometimes like in football too, San Francisco, the Niners in this case, have been able to take advantage of the Panthers, of at times the Commanders, and what they failed to do in getting Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey and acquiring both those future Hall of Fame guys probably in trades. Like a lot of times trades of great players really only happen because one side is kind of dysfunctional. And in this case, the Giants are the victors of this Red Sox regime, not really knowing what to do with their star player.
Absolutely. No, and they absolutely fleeced the Red Sox. And, of course, in Boston fashion, Craig Breslow notifying the cops, the Red Sox notifying the cops that Craig Breslow doxing. They basically posted his home address for everyone to go find him and bother him at his house. Typical Red Sox fans. They take it to the extreme. And, yes, you should not do that to anybody, really. And, of course, Big Papi is still trolling, saying how the Red Sox are the best franchise ever, and he's still mad that Rafi Devers got traded, and he's blaming Rafi the entire time.
I don't get how you're blaming Rafi Devers, and like it's so funny to hear Big Papi call out another star player that is no longer there now, of like, you didn't want to play the field. David Ortiz didn't play the field for like 20 years. Like, he was a first baseman for the Twins when he was like 22 years old.
Yeah.
He played first base for the Red Sox for maybe a year of his entire time there. Like, he's a Hall of Fame DH. Why are you the one like sticking your neck out for the franchise? Like, Manny Ramirez is out there saying, this is the team's fault. This is the Red Sox fault. But Papi is shilling hard for the Red Sox. I don't know why, but he is.
He is. I mean, he's at this point, he's like their Barry Bonds. He's the guy who's constantly in and around the franchise. And it's funny because I just saw a video today, and I posted about this on my X account. They had a video and a whole thing for Sammy Sosa in his return to Wrigley Field. He hasn't been. He says he hasn't been to Wrigley Field in 21 years. I'm like, you guys haven't invited him back in 21 years. The Giants have had Barry Bonds in their stadium how many times now? He's there all the time. And 21 years? Now, look, Sammy Sosa might have been on the run, like, oh, I'm embarrassed. But they should have welcomed him
for a couple of years with that face cream he used that turned him white for like half a decade.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like he isn't part of their tradition. Like, he's not one of their legends they bring in and out. I just thought that was crazy. I was like, dude, that's nuts.
Baseball right now is really exciting for a lot of reasons, but it's always entertaining to watch teams fumble the bag, either in kind of catering to the egos of their star players or simply just not knowing how to operate around them. And the Red Sox, if you know what's been happening out there in Boston and how they have handled Rafael Devers, his position, and where he'll play, where he'll not play, and like what he's done to the organization and how they have, for lack of better terms, kind of dicked him around for the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really hard to make him out to be the villain here. Like, the Red Sox have, like, most teams usually cater to a star player. Like, the Giants are never going to move away, Barry Bonds from left field to center field when he's 28 years old, 39 years old in the prime of his career. Aaron Judge is locked into the outfield. They're not going to ask him to go play first base on a whim or go acquire somebody and say, sorry, Aaron, we're moving you around. The Red Sox did that to their best player, their highest paid player. That doesn't happen ever.
Alex Bregman, too, a fucking cheater.
Oh, man. I like Alex, but yes, he is a cheater.
He's a cheater. He's a good third baseman, though. I'll give him that. But you mentioned something earlier about trades, about the Christian McCaffrey trade. So when we look back on that trade, it allows us to kind of look at it and say, okay, now, is this a trade where we really fleeced them? Well, when you look at what happened, that's a lot of picks. That's a second-round pick, a third-round pick, a fourth-round pick, and a fifth-round pick. They're like, how about 2, 3, 4, 5? And so in 2023, look, that was 3 picks out of that draft in 2023. But then again, we went to the Super Bowl in 2023. So I think it was well worth it. Now, if you look at what they did with those picks, the first pick, the second-round pick, was traded as part of the package to draft Bryce Young. Okay. The second, the third and fourth round pick in 2023 was traded for outside linebacker DJ Johnson. And then I don't even know who that is. And then the 5th round pick was traded as part of the Brian Burns New York Giants deal. So that's what they got in return. All those picks.
Crazy.
And they got Bryce Young, DJ Johnson, and Brian Burns. No, they traded away Brian Burns.
Giants.
Yeah, he went to the Giants. He was
crazy.
On the team. That is nuts. And that goes to show you right there, like, it's not a good franchise. And when you're, some of these poverty franchises, they're just ran by people that don't understand the game. They're more of executives looking to capitalize on earnings, how to cut down on spending. And that's how they're running it like a business. And this is what happens. And you look over, and we got Christian McCaffrey for all that.
Well, you know what's crazy is that I was watching a video, ironically today, before the show, about the McCaffrey trade, and he was talking about how during that offseason prior to the season he got traded, so the 2022 offseason, he was talking about with his agent that, hey, you could get traded, but the odds are pretty slim. Just keep an eye on it. It may happen, may not, but just want to let you know what could possibly be happening during the year. And McCaffrey was like, okay, like whatever. He kind of shelved it in the back of his brain. All of a sudden, Matt Rule gets fired. GM change, owner starts getting a little handsy inside of the front office and what they want to do as a team and organization, and then bang, he's gone overnight. He said he didn't say goodbye to a single player, a single person inside the organization. He got on a flight that Thursday, was in San Francisco by Friday, and played that Sunday. I don't think CMC did it on purpose, but it kind of shows you how, like, when you get traded from a really bad organization, a losing environment, and you're going to a winning environment, it makes you so eager to, one, be there, but also come to work every single day. And you can tell Christian McCaffrey, who wasn't, part of the initial, kind of regime change in San Francisco with Kyle and John, you could tell he is now so ingrained in that culture and so ingrained into the organization that you're looking at someone that, when it's all said and done, is going to be more known as a San Francisco 49er compared to the Carolina Panther.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people have almost forgotten that he was a Carolina Panther because nothing was really accomplished then when he was a Carolina Panther. Now, look, he had some good years. He also had a lot of injury-plagued years, and of course, he had one last season with San Francisco where he missed pretty much the entire season. Came back for 3 or 4 games. They got hurt again. But again, when we look at what can we expect out of Christian McCaffrey, I'm expecting really big things out of Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to have a huge bounce back season coming off the bilateral tendonitis bilateral Achilles tendonitis that he suffered from last season.
It's a tongue twister.
It's a tongue twister. But when you look at this, okay, this is courtesy of BetUS. Now, Christian McCaffrey rushing yards.
Wow.
Over or under is 115. On 950.5. I mean, do you expect Christian McCaffrey to rush for over 1,000 yards this season?
You'd like to think so if he's healthy, right? Like the assumption is if he plays, 15 games.
Is that really a picture of him, or is that an AI generated image of him?
It looks AI from the
back.
It looks
AI. It looks like an action figure.
The shoulders up looks really fake, but
yeah, it does. The arm too, it just doesn't seem right. But anyway,
I do think that there is, like, if I asked you if Christian McCaffrey had, let's say, 900 yards on the ground, but had 600 through the air, what would you say?
I'd say that's great.
That's a damn good season, right?
Damn good season.
And that likely means he was utilized in a smart way to save his legs. He probably played about 15 plus games. So I get it. A lot of the running back worth may not be there in regards to being a true running back like Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and stuff like that. But Christian McCaffrey, although, yes, plays running back primarily, you can't really grade him that way because he is so dynamic and can do so many different things for you outside of just, catching screen passes. He can go out, for a 25-yard bubble screen or go out there for a, go out there as a slot receiver and do so many things for you on swing routes and whatnot. So I would take... Honestly, I think I may take the under, but slightly. But I think he's going to have a bigger presence as a wide receiver this year.
Yeah, I think he does too. And we have 49er Minded in here. What's up, dude? Good to see you, buddy.
Brother?
But, I think it's a case where, I want to see a lot of Christian McCaffrey, but it has to be balanced. You drafted a running back. you traded up and drafted Isaac Guerendo.
Yeah.
You got to utilize Jordan James. You got to utilize Isaac Guerendo. You got to utilize these guys to their fullest potential and get the most out of them. And I think that, I would like to see McCaffrey line up as a slot receiver with Guerendo in the backfield or Jordan James in the backfield. To change things up, give us different looks. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they lined up McCaffrey in a lot of those Deebo Samuel type plays where it's an end around and you give it back to McCaffrey or you fake it to McCaffrey and then roll out. So I think they're going to use McCaffrey in a lot of different ways because they know the defenses are going to be paying close attention to wherever McCaffrey is at on the field. And that's where it benefits everybody because that's where it opens things up for George Kittle. It opens things up for Juwan Jennings and Brock Purdy to find those lanes. And so I'm really excited for what McCaffrey brings to the season. I've been talking about it all offseason. This is the guy I'm the most excited about to see what he's going to do when he comes back in 2025. So let me ask you, do you think a bigger loss will be not having McCaffrey like we did last season, or do you think a bigger loss is going to be us not having Deebo Samuel this season?
That's tough to say because we know what Christian McCaffrey would have been if he was healthy last year. Right. Mm-hmm. Like Christian McCaffrey had shown no signs of slowing down. He has shown no signs of, there being this drop off, post age 27, 28 years old. Whereas we saw exactly what Deebo Samuel looked like healthy last year, albeit there was some, there was an illness involved in there. And then the way he plays, he leads to nagging injuries, but he never really showed any example of, being the player he once was, even when he played for us last year. He showed he was slower. The hands were inconsistent. There just didn't seem to be juice behind the legs. That is Deebo Samuel. Whereas Christian McCaffrey, I know there's plenty of he looks slow conversations this early into the OTA process, but he by far has at least a little bit more burst in those legs compared to Deebo Samuel last year, who was like 20 pounds overweight at one time. And not to harp on Deebo too much, because I do appreciate what he did in San Francisco for us, and he certainly carried the entire offense in 2021, but they're just different players, and Christian McCaffrey has shown so many more signs of staying relevant in the NFL and being a contributor this far into his career compared to Deebo Samuel, who I know the Commanders fans are happy, a 5th-round pick, stole him. Give that 6 games, and they're going to have a whole different mindset towards Deebo Samuel this season.
Absolutely. I mean, look, is he going to have a good year? I think he'll have at least, 3 to 4 good games where he shows what he can do. But I don't think this is a guy that makes a difference, every game anymore at his age. And, there's a lot of comments about, the video of the route he was taking during OTAs. Everyone's like, man, he looks slow. And, George Kittle came to his defense. But, George Kittle's his friend. He's like, hey, man, you guys chill out. But to me, he looks slow. He looked
But he's looked slow for the last year and a half.
He has. He hasn't looked the same.
He's banged up at the end of 2023. He was slow as hell last year. And I will give Deebo and Kittle credit. I don't think we should be grading anything too intently or too we shouldn't be making concrete assumptions or having concrete takeaways into the OTA process, knowing that most people who aren't there have no idea what's actually happening. That said, the odds Deebo Samuel is the exact same player he was last year this year are really, really high. And that player simply wasn't good anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't. And the whole thing, the element that he brought was not a surprise. It was not really much of a weapon anymore. And I think that it was time for them to move on from Deebo Samuel. Yeah. And when we're talking about, guys who are, picking up the pace and looking spry, looking fast, the one guy we saw today was a big update from the one and only Malik Mustapha, who looked like a monster out there. Look at this guy. This guy tore his ACL. Are you kidding me? He's dragging whatever the fuck he was dragging. He's running in circles over here. Look at this. This looks great.
Yeah, I don't know where he's at in his process.
But look at that.
In regards to his rehab, but I don't know what that is. That's 45 times 4 on each side. Do quick math. 45 times 8. It's too much for me to count, and I can't.
It's a lot of weight. Look at that. What's he pulling?
it just looks like he's so far ahead of where he's supposed to be in regards to his rehab. I know his mom was very outspoken on social media after he got hurt and was revealed that he'd be out for a large chunk of time, which may have led to him missing up and maybe until October. That said, if he looks healthy, and just goes back to last year too. I said he was going to be their best safety last year going into the season, and he was. And he is, I think, of the grouping you would like to think would be part of the next big core in San Francisco. They haven't really found anybody after Jimmy Ward has left, and they're different players, mind you. But on the back end of that defense, they really, really, really need Mustapha to play well. They have Pinnock. You don't know what you're going to get from Jair Brown, so the impact Mustapha makes for your defense is really big. He's a playmaker. We saw what he did against Seattle last year, making plays, and he was one of the few bright spots in a really bad season for San Francisco. So you're hoping he can get back healthy and be a starter for you almost every single week next year.
Okay, hold on. Tommy, he's saying you said that Webb is overrated.
Logan Webb? No.
I don't think so. He's also saying that you said Trent Williams was washed.
His ankle may be, but I don't think Trent's washed. Tommy also called us fairies earlier, so I don't know what to take from that, Tommy.
So we see Malik Mustapha making strides in his return, and there's a chance that maybe he doesn't hit the PUP list. Maybe he just misses week 1, or he's ready for week 1. We really don't know exactly where he's at. I think we'll find out more when training camp begins. But there is talk about what if or should the Niners go out and try to sign a guy like Justin Simmons to give them that veteran depth at the safety position. I could see it being a benefit, but at the same time, if he's coming back and he'll be ready by week 1, then I think we're fine. You still got Jason Pinnock in there. You still got some guys you signed, the special teams that can play safety. George Odom is still there. Granted, he's not a safety, but he can play and help us out if we need him to. What do you think about the idea of a Justin Simmons? Do you think it's something that would be essential for San Francisco, or do you think it's more of just kind of a waste of time?
I think it's a lot of wishful thinking. Obviously, Justin Simmons on paper is an upgrade from Jair Brown at free safety. He'd be this team's best free safety since Jimmy Ward left. He'd be the first true safety since Jimmy Ward left, and would give San Francisco just a tremendous option on the back end of that secondary. However, if you're signing Justin Simmons, you're signing him to start for you on day 1 and be the guy every single day. And with the guys they brought in and the guys they currently have, like San Francisco is seemingly high on Mustapha, obviously. They're going to give Jair Brown some run in year number 3 and hope last year's sophomore slump was kind of an anomaly for him and he can bounce back from that. They gave Jason Pinnock guaranteed money. Mm-hmm. They like Marquise Siegel a lot, who they drafted this year late in this year's draft. I don't know how much he plays. I don't think he's practiced so far for the team. I'm not exactly sure what's happening there. I think it's an ankle injury. I could be wrong. Or it's a quad or something like that. Lower body is how I'll put that. But I just think they got 4 or 5 guys already signed. If there is anybody they could sign or I could see them signing, Sports Earn here, Kyle Chupta says, thank you so much, that could come in and wouldn't be expecting to start and expecting to be a mainstay would be Julian Blackmon, a guy that's still a free agent, knows Gus Bradley's defense when he was in Indianapolis. He was in for a visit last year and probably wouldn't cost you too much. So I think that's a more realistic option compared to Justin Simmons, albeit a much lesser one. But they have, Pinnock, Brown, Mustapha, Siegel's there, Odom, Richie Grant's of kind of a starting level, bottom of the barrel starting level free safety who has special teams help. So
they like Grant.
Like there's like 7 guys that I think are already in that room that you add Simmons to it. It becomes really confusing as to what the plan is, and you're going to have some guys that probably say, "Get me out of here." If that's the case, like if you're Richie Grant or Pinnock, hey, if you have Simmons and Mustapha, I'm not playing much.
Yeah, you're not playing at all. You're just a special teamer.
Right, and like they probably sign with the idea that, yeah, I'm a base level special teamer, but I have the ability to start if someone goes down or struggles. So I just think it overly crowds that room in the wrong way where I don't think you want to do it at all.
So when we talk about that as well, I mean, when we talk about injuries, that is, I now shift our attention to the other news that came out recently, which was Nick Martin suffering a minor thumb fracture a few weeks ago. So this is not something that he did just recently. It's something that he did a few weeks ago. And it was what Trent Williams was talking about recently in that interview or that video where he talked about him breaking his thumb or fracturing his thumb while working out. Now, to me, look, I think this came out and everyone kind of jumped on it like, holy shit, he broke his thumb. Oh my God. But this already happened and he didn't miss any of the OTAs. He was there the whole time with that thumb being fractured. So we know now that it's not something that just happened. It's something that happened a few weeks ago. And so I think he'll be fine. Obviously, he'll be there for training camp. He'll be there getting ready for, the joint practices and then later in the preseason. So I think he'll be just fine. But what do you think about this news about Nick Martin's injury?
Am I wrong to say it's like the biggest non-story of the offseason thus far, outside of like the random disaggregation of like, they should sign this guy and sign that guy and sign this guy and sign that guy? Like, that's all it is, right? Like, yeah, Nick Martin legitimately broke his thumb, although in a minor way. But in OTAs, you can't touch anybody. Like, if you're going to break your thumb, this is a great time to do it. You can put a club on the thing. You can put a splint on it. Like, you don't need your thumb in OTAs outside of a few drills. And so my bigger question was, what workout were you doing to break your thumb?
Seriously?
Like, did a weight fall on it? Were you doing some dumbbell chest press and it got a little loose on you? Like, what were you doing? Did a plate slam on it? Like, you must have been going way too hard in the gym.
Yeah, or he had a dumbbell and he dropped it on himself. Something. I've never heard of a finger being broken at the gym, but, I don't really go to the gym all that much, so I wouldn't really know. We have a $2 super chat here from Tommy Huxley saying, Sterling Silver, keep it up, Errol Flynn. You do look like that guy. That's pretty crazy.
It's true, I do.
Yeah,
it's uncanny. Calling Tommy the King of the Fairies, though? Is that like applicable here?
King of the Fairies? What are you talking about? Is that
every episode we do, he comments, hey fairies, every time.
Really?
I think Tommy should be King of the Fairies.
He's King of the Fairies.
He's the head fairy.
He's the princess of the fairies is what he is.
Thank you.
And here is that video too. And I thought it was a really weird video, but I was like, when I saw it, I was like, what? I don't understand what's happening right now. This is it right here where Trent Williams was talking about that.
Shout out to Nick Martin, my new teammate, East Texas boy, Texarkana. Already out there making plays.
What's Texarkana game day? I don't even know what that is.
Sometimes when Trent talks, I'm like, all right, cool, man. I don't know what you mean by that, but all right, cool. I love you, but okay.
Whatever.
Broke his thumb lifting weights, which is kind of a mystery, but, we ain't going to speak on that. But, yeah, I can't wait to see him. Can't wait to see his success in the NFL, but he's going to be a great player. Shout out to Nick Martin.
I mean, I think the benefit from this is that he's saying he's going to be a great player. He's talking very highly about Nick Martin, and they really need him to step up. Him and D. Winter. And at this point, I think D. Winters is probably going to be your starter next to Fred Warner because this is his third year. He's more developed. If he's not the starter and Nick Martin beats him out, then that says a lot about not only Nick Martin, but D. Winters not being able to win out that position. So I definitely think D. Winters will be your starter.
Yeah, and the good thing about this is that he broke it in a minor way, one, but also it's so early into the offseason. They're not at training camp yet. Like the competition they are assumed to be having is not going to be impacted by him breaking his thumb. If he broke it a couple weeks ago, I'm assuming that this next month off they're going to have, he's going to be fully healthy come training camp and preseason. And like, again, this is the time if you're going to get hurt to do it in a minor way where it's not going to bother you too much. Like a lot was made of Jair Brown missing or having ankle surgery. Have it now, so it's not a problem when it actually matters. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. That said, D. Winters, by all accounts, has looked phenomenal in the OTA periods, and you can make of that what you will, but I really don't think we're going to see D. Winters, barring injury, give up that number 2 linebacker spot this year. Now, Nick Martin can certainly earn the number 3 job, and maybe he just plays out. Maybe he outplays Winters, and it's not even Winters' fault at all. Maybe they'll both play equally well, and you have the next version of Fred and Dre Greenlaw and Aziz Al-Shire, but instead of Greenlaw and Alshire, it's Martin, and it's Winters. But I think they're in good hands. I still will say that pick was a reach. I think that's fair to say still to this day. That said, Nick Martin can make a lot of people, including myself, eat crow this preseason and this season. So I'm hoping that's the case. I love being wrong when I dislike picks, especially about the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm eagerly awaiting to watch the linebackers this preseason and during training camp, because I am going to be honed in on both those guys, seeing who separates themselves during the competition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to break down the Brock Purdy situation. Is he elite or is he not? Where does he fall amongst the quarterbacks in the NFL? You're watching the DreArea Sports Show on the DreArea Sports channel. Like, share, and subscribe.
You're listening to the DreArea Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
The DreArea Sports Show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And we are also brought to you by Taryn Roy, the SEO Optimizer. If you're looking to boost your YouTube channel, then check out the SEO Optimizer. Use promo code DreArea Sports to start your free trial today. Power Brand Systems. If you're looking to build a website for your small business or YouTube channel, then check out Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase at Power Brand Systems.
We got some key dates coming up that we got to go over right now. And here they are. It's courtesy of our SF Niners, my good friend Raj. And these are the big dates. The rookies will report to camp on July 15th, while the veterans are scheduled to arrive on July 22nd to get 7 days without the veterans there. These are big days. This is when everything is going to ramp up, starting July 15th. Coverage, media, everything. It's going to be nuts. And then you get the joint practices with Denver, which they do almost every single year. That's going to be on August 7th in Santa Clara. And then the Raiders on August 14th in Henderson, Nevada. Are you excited for these dates coming up? I mean, are you going to try to attend to some of these?
I am going to try to attend. I believe the media isn't allowed to be at the facility until the entire team is there, so I don't think the July 15th date is that important. However, that July 22nd date, whether it's that day or the 23rd, whatever the first day is for the media to be there, I am trying and pleading with my wife to let me go, honey. Let me go. Summer. I feel like I'm asking Moses to the Pharaoh, saying, "Let your people go, please. Let me go to training camp this year." But no, I'm excited. Look, the NFL has a stranglehold on me and many other people during the year, and when you see your team play poorly, you start to kind of withdraw. And then you get to the draft, you get excited, and San Francisco had an overwhelmingly good offseason from my point of view. Then you have this weird break in between when you're like, there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
What does my life look like as a content creator, as a journalist, as just a fan overall? You're like, do I take a vacation? I don't want to. I want to focus on what's happening next. So I have been searching the internets in social media platforms, looking for anything Niner related, but knowing that July 22nd is a date I can circle on my calendar makes me extremely happy. And I want to point out that last year, San Francisco tried to have joint practices against the Saints. Couldn't do it. Now they're getting 2 of those against the Broncos and Raiders. So all the vibes are good talk, and all this is a new, fresh season. San Francisco gets not 1 but 2 joint practices, which they hold in high regard every single year.
You remember that? Like, oh my God, they made such a big deal about that, how they canceled that joint practice. It was like, oh!
Everybody was hurt.
Everybody was hurt. They couldn't do it. They didn't have enough players. But that was a big deal. Yeah. The only day I look forward to is September 7th. Hell yeah! We're 79 days away from the first NFL game. It seems like an eternity right now.
Are you someone that celebrates, like, even if it's not your team, if it's like Thursday Night Football Packers and Eagles in Brazil last year? Are you like, I'm glued to my TV?
Yes and no. It depends on what I got going on. But when the Niners play, yes, I'm glued to my TV. My wife even knows that, like, when it comes to any sport, maybe the Giants, the Warriors, or the Niners, when it's football season, I have to watch the Niners, and she knows that too. She's like, "All right, guys, we're gonna go to the birthday party, and Dad's gonna stay here and watch the Niner game because otherwise I'm gonna be there on my phone watching the game, which I've done before." So
that usually gets you reprimanded by your wife. We're out in public, honey. You can't be on your phone all the time. You're like, "Go away, go away, go away." Jake Moody missing field goals. Go away, go away.
Oh God, how depressing was that? Okay, so Brock Purdy, and this was the main topic of the stream. Is Brock Purdy an elite quarterback? Does he deserve to be in the top 10? Now, Charles McDonald of Yahoo Sports recently did a top 10 list of quarterbacks entering the 2025 season, and he had this list that he made up, which I really don't. I agree with part of it, but not the other half of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. This is the list. It starts with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson.
Whoa.
Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Stafford, and then Prescott, Geno Smith, Jordan Love, and CJ Stroud. I thought this was absolutely ridiculous. I don't really understand what the fuck he's talking about here. Why Geno Smith is on this list and Brock Purdy is not. Even Dak Prescott, yeah, he's had some years where he's had some pretty good offensive numbers, but he's not the number 7 quarterback in the league. I'm sorry. He's getting paid like number 1 quarterback in the league, but he's not number 7. If this is my list, I would have Brock Purdy probably at number 8 with CJ Stroud at number 7. And I would not have Prescott or Geno Smith on this fucking list. But Geno Smith made the list, but Brock Purdy did not. What do you think about this list?
I don't mind the top 5. I think a Herbert's a little high, but that number, like those 4 at the top feel okay to me. Like you can nitpick Jackson, Allen, and Burrow, and I know Mahomes wasn't great last year, and the Chiefs almost snuck in, or they did sneak in the Super Bowl, and it showed how bad they actually were. But those top 4 are fine with me. You can flip Jackson and Allen. You can flip, like, I'm a really big Joe Burrow fan, and I think Joe Burrow of that grouping is probably the best one as a pure thrower of the football. But he's too often hurt, and I know he's scoring 40 points a game and all that, and that's great, but like he just hasn't done much in the playoffs, even gone to the playoffs much, albeit it's not his fault mostly. So top 4 is fine. But Herbert to me should probably be around 7 or 8. I think that's fair. He's been in the playoffs once they didn't win the game, I think. So Stafford's interesting. Like, I get it. You want to respect Stafford a lot for what he's done in his career.
Absolutely.
He's won a Super Bowl. The big arm is still there. At least when it comes to down the field throwing. I get he's getting older and maybe the arm strength isn't as good as it once was, but you can put Stafford at 6. That's fine. If you want to put him lower, I think he belongs in the top 10. However, I am just kind of dumbfounded as to how you put Dak Prescott and Geno Smith inside not just the top 10, but the top 8. What has Geno Smith ever accomplished in his career?
Nothing.
I get it. He was in Seattle and he revitalized his career when he was terrible in New York with the Giants and the Jets. Like his career accolade really is breaking Eli Manning's quarterback streak of played games in a row. Like that's his career accolade. He's a fine quarterback. I get it. Dak Prescott has done nothing in his career outside of lead Dallas to the playoffs and losing the first round every single time.
Every year.
It's just baffling how that's the case. But when I think of it, I'm like, like if Prescott's in the top 7, where's Jared Goff? Who we all can say probably belongs in that 12 to 8 range on any given Sunday. Where is Jaden Daniels, who was phenomenal last year in his rookie season? If anything,
I would take Jaden Daniels over Geno Smith.
I'd take Jaden Daniels over Dak Prescott and Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Like,
Jordan Love is so overrated. He has great natural talents, but I still believe that he's just so overrated. He hasn't even accomplished anything yet.
Yeah. And I do like Jordan Love. I think I would have Love at 9 or 10. on my list. I think I'd put Jaden Daniels probably around 7. You can maybe put it 6 there. I know it's year 1, so you can get into kind of an argument with him. But if this is who we're looking at saying, let's replace somebody, you're not going to put Jalen Hurts in there, who's just won a Super Bowl. I get it. Jalen Hurts is limited in some fashions, but Jalen Hurts in his own right is better than Dak Prescott, better than Geno Smith. Then you go into the Brock Purdy conversation. I completely understand why there are people reluctant to place Brock Purdy in the elite conversation. And for one, I do not think Brock Purdy is an elite quarterback. There's very few of those in the NFL. I think it's Mahomes, Jackson, Allen are kind of like the guaranteed elite guys. Burrow, to me, is certainly in that category, but can be fringe. There are some pitfalls in his game. I don't think Herbert's in that conversation. Stafford is not in that conversation any longer. And I really think that Brock Purdy belongs, if you want to look at this grouping, if Daniels replaces Prescott, let's say Jalen Hurts winning a Super Bowl replaces Geno Smith, there's a real argument to be made that Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Jordan Love. And I get he's a smaller guy and maybe the arm talent isn't there, but from an accomplishment standpoint, there's no promise that you put Jordan Love in San Francisco, he does the exact same thing Brock Purdy did.
No.
There's no promise. And so I think Brock Purdy, in this case, is a top 10 quarterback.
I mean, look at Jaden Daniels. He threw for almost 3,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 9 picks. He had a QBR of 70.6. The guy had a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
When you look at Jordan Love, he threw for just under 3,400 yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 picks, a QBR of 69.3. But he was hurt a lot this season. Geno Smith, where he shines is that he threw for over 4,000 yards. Yeah. But he had 21 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. That's a lot. And a QBR of 53.8. But when you look at Brock Purdy, he threw for 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks, and a 67.9 QBR, which is 7th in the NFL.
And he missed 2 games.
He missed 2 games, didn't have McCaffrey, didn't have Debo really for part of the season as well, didn't have Aiyuk, didn't have a lot of the weapons that he normally has, and he still put up, I think, really good numbers for in a season that was just marred with injuries. And now you look at this guy, Charles McDonald, doing a top 10, and he doesn't even include Brock Purdy. Because here it looks like, well, if I'm making a top 10 list, I'm basing it on pure talent in terms of your arm strength, your athleticism. And that's what this is. This isn't about, let's look at the numbers and break down which one is a better quarterback based on their statistics. No, this is based on who has the physical traits that I think, top 10 quarterbacks need. And to me, that's what this is based on. Because in no way should Geno Smith be anywhere near the top 10 list. Should Prescott be in the top 10? Prescott should be out of the top 10. I would put him at 13 or 14. I like Bo Nix over Dak Prescott. I like Jaden Daniels over Dak Prescott. I'm telling you, to put him in there, especially Geno Smith, that is the biggest slap in the face to anyone who supports Brock Purdy. And let me ask you this. Why is it that the media and these guys like this continually shit on Brock Purdy? What is it about him that has the media just hating on this guy?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with people think the offense and mainly Kyle Shanahan's scheme is the reason for his success. And to a certain degree, that may be true. I think you look at Jordan Love, like nobody holds Jordan Love back because of Matt LaFleur's system. And I think that's, although not on the same level as Brock Purdy and what Kyle Shanahan has done, like LaFleur runs a darn good system out there in Green Bay. He has Josh Jacobs. They have like 9 different receivers that can do all the same things, mind you, but like they have a lot of weapons out there for Jordan Love. And I think that I get it. Charles McDonald's making this a pure traits-based top 10, and in that case, he wouldn't be wrong with Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, Burrow, even Herbert, albeit he should be down further, and Stroud can be in this top 10 too, but traits-based conversation, Stafford, Prescott, Smith, and Love are in that. How? Over players like Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts and even Brock Purdy, like you can easily remove Prescott, Smith, and Love and insert guys that, one, have been more successful in a shorter period of time than those players. And two, I can argue Jaden Daniels is a much better athlete than Smith, Love, and Prescott.
Absolutely.
Jalen Hurts is a much bebetter quarterback than Geno Smith. And Brock Purdy, I could argue, is a more traitier quarterback than Geno Smith. Like, I like the top 10 list McDonald has made doesn't really make sense when you try to look at it from the characteristic, the traits, the physical talent standpoint either. It's just rather kind of confusing as to what he was going for and basing it off of.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. And I saw this and I thought, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And on top of that, when we look at some of the other stats from Brock Purdy, when we look at his running statistics, this is Brock Purdy's rushing numbers the past few seasons, courtesy of Coach Yak, who posts stuff all day long. I love this guy. I love his account. In 2023, he rushed for 144 yards. That's a 3.7 average, 2 touchdowns, 20 first downs. 20 first downs. In 2024, he rushed for 323 yards, 4.9 average, 5 touchdowns, and 33 first downs. This guy keeps the sticks moving. He's a baller, dude. Brock Purdy is a game changer on so many levels. And I remember that against Seattle when he dove and got the touchdown. But again, he continues to get shit on, hated on, bagged on, mocked. I don't get it. And I think, go ahead.
Go back to the quarterback list for a second, because I have a question to ask you.
Yeah.
So we have the quarterback list up on the screen on YouTube, and I want to ask you, Dre, what is, if you can kind of use one word that I guess you can say sums up what makes an elite quarterback, what word would you use?
An elite quarterback? I think,
or a top 10 quarterback. One word.
You put me on the spot right now.
Sorry.
I would say probably arm strength. I mean, that's what everyone looks for, is the big arm.
Okay,
the deep ball.
I would simplify that, and I would say you need to be a playmaker. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, and that encompasses with your legs, with your arms, with your intellect, with your processing. All those things come together that make you a playmaker. Is Dak Prescott a playmaker? No. Is Geno Smith a playmaker? No. Jaden Daniels is a playmaker. Burrow, Allen, Jackson, Mahomes, Stroud are playmakers. I think that people really need to watch Brock Purdy play, because yes, there may be a limited arm strength. Yes, the size may be a problem, not seeing over the offensive lineman too well. But he's precise with the football. It doesn't usually make bonehead mistakes, and over the last couple of years has continually proven to be a play-making quarterback at the NFL level. And that should be how that's how you distinguish top 10 guys from guys that are top 15. Like, top 15 guys aren't really playmakers. They can be on one Sunday, but not the other. Brock overwhelmingly has been a playmaker through the past 3 seasons of work out there in San Francisco.
Absolutely. He's an absolute playmaker, and we saw him do that in the playoffs especially. We saw him do it in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. There were a number of plays that he was able to make that a lot of quarterbacks don't do it. There was a play on their last drive that ended in a field goal. He was getting rushed from his right side. He moved to his left and then just gracefully softly tossed the ball to Christian McCaffrey. And McCaffrey almost broke that for a touchdown too. And, he made a number of plays that were just outstanding in that Super Bowl. Obviously, look, it was a learning process. He was very young then as well. But when it comes to playmaking, I mean, we saw it against the Lions, almost getting sacked, shaking off the defender, and finding Kyle Juszczyk for a first down. The pass across the field to Juwan Jennings, getting him that ball. Just play after play, keeping the team in the game. And so when you base a list off of playmakers, I think he deserves to be on this list. If you were to remake this list, would you add Brock Purdy to it?
I think I would keep the top 4 in place. I think I'd move Herbert down to like 7. I think I'd put Jaden Daniels at 6 at the moment. I think he was so good last year, and I believe in him so much. Okay, then I'd put Herbert at 6. That seems fair. I think I'd move Stroud up to 7. I think I'd put Stafford at 8. And then I'd put Purdy around the 9 range.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. 8 or 9. 8 or 10. Like, that's fair. Like, Brock, to me, isn't a top 6 quarterback, but I think overwhelmingly, a top 8 quarterback seems very fair for him.
I think so. And for me, the top 5, I have no problem with those guys. Those guys are elite. Those guys have the physical talents that not many people have in the world. So, like, they are supremely elite athletes. Herbert hasn't accomplished as much as the guys above him. Hopefully with Jim Harbaugh there, a new system, he can get to that level. Because I think he can be one of those guys based on his arm strength, based on his natural talents. I would remove Geno Smith in favor of Jaden Daniels onto the list. I like Stafford on there because, let's face it, if it wasn't for Stafford, they wouldn't have won the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for Stafford, he's the reason why they beat the Niners twice last season, because he never gave up. And he's a veteran presence, and he knows how to win.
Is there an argument to be made that Matthew Stafford, near the age of 40 years old, doesn't belong on the list? I think he does. Is there an argument to be made? Like, if I told you my list was Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, and CJ Stroud, like, you can really have an argument that while Stafford is still, I think what separates Stafford from that group is that he's really clutch. He doesn't make the bonehead mistake, and he usually makes the right play at the right time. Like, Herbert, to me, is what Mahomes has been outside of the ability to run the football in recent seasons. Like, Mahomes the last couple of years has just found a way in the pinch of a game to make the right throw at the right time or the right play at the right time.
Yeah.
And Stafford doesn't have the legs Mahomes does or whatnot, but he just finds a way in the clutch to make the right throw at the right time, to find the open receiver downfield, whatnot. Like, but from a skill set standpoint, am I wrong to think that this could be Stafford's last year in this category?
I think he could do it one more year after this, but this is definitely on the edge of it could be his last year being in this category. But I would definitely have him on the list. I think he has, the testicular fortitude, as they would say in the WWE, to be on this list. To do the things that a lot of quarterbacks can't do, to make the mental decision, the processing, the arm strength. And he finds a way to win. And I like Stafford a lot. I hate the Rams, but I actually like Stafford a lot. That was like back in the Seahawks days. I couldn't stand the Seahawks when they were the Legion of Boom. I could not stand them.
Don't tell me you liked Russell Wilson.
But I liked Russell Wilson. He didn't bother me.
You liked Mr. Unlimited?
Mr. Unlimited.
He was a pain in the ass. I hated that guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hate him in that, but great. But he made some incredible plays. And I was like, dude, this guy, what are you going to do? There was a game Thursday night against the Niners, and he got pressured on his left side, and they were like on the, 5-yard line, and he runs to his right, and he just like softly lobs a pass for a touchdown where nobody else can get to except for the tight end. And I remember watching it with a group of Niner fans where we were just like, fuck, well, all right, well, what are you going to do?
Kind of sounds like Brock Purdy.
That was an incredible pass. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Where you can't get mad because you're just like, well, fuck. I mean, we were all over him.
You can get mad, but you can also respect it.
But you know what I mean? Where you're like, we were all over him, and he threw a pass that was like godly. He just kind of floated in there right to his tight end. It was like, what are you going to do?
Wilson was a very different quarterback than what he is now. And he was special.
He was, yes. And his ability to evade the pass rush. And it reminds me a lot of Brock Purdy. What we see Brock doing when he's under pressure and he gets out of the pocket and makes a play. That's what Russell Wilson used to do to the Niners all the fucking time. Where you think they're going to sack him, and then he get away, and then throw to a wide open running back. Oh, touchdown! You're like, what the fuck?
Always found a way.
Always found a way. It was aggravating as hell, but it is what it is. But do I think that Brock Purdy is an elite quarterback? I do. I do think he's an elite quarterback for a lot of different reasons. I think his mental processing ability, his ability to process the field is at a higher level than a lot of other players out there. Even Justin Herbert. We've seen Herbert make a lot of mistakes in the postseason. We've seen Jared Goff make a ton of mistakes in the postseason. We haven't seen Brock Purdy make a lot of mistakes in the postseason. Now, we saw him make mistakes last season, but I think in that case, he didn't have the weapons that he normally has. If you have a team and you're coming into the season and you got a lot of guys that are injured, a lot of guys that are not there, it's going to fuck with you no matter what team you are. Your timing is off. Your rhythm is off. And I think that's what happened to Brock Purdy. You got Deebo Samuel lining up as Christian McCaffrey. You had Brandon Aiyuk lining up as Deebo Samuel when Deebo had the pneumonia game, which I'm like, why is he even trying to play?
Is that the game that he got hurt, Aiyuk?
Yeah, it was against the Chiefs.
So Deebo got sick, couldn't play. Then Aiyuk gets his knee shredded. And that was Pearsall's debut, too.
That was Pearsall's debut. Everyone thought, it's going to be a magical day.
What the hell?
Yeah, so they're running routes that they've never ran before because they're trying to make up for everyone being out. So that's why I think this season you're going to see a lot of like Christian McCaffrey back in his normal routine, back in his normal playmaking ability, back in his role. And I think that, you might see him line up in some of those Deebo Samuel plays, and that maybe would open things up for a Jordan James, for an Isaac Guerendo. I wouldn't mind seeing Guerendo as a receiver at times, or a receiver out of the backfield. And when you watch a lot of the highlights from 2023, there was a lot of receiver out of the backfield by Christian McCaffrey that kept the chains moving. And I think that's what we're going to get back. And not to mention, we still got George Kittle. We brought back, was it Charlie Warner? Oh, no, the other guy.
Ross
Dwelly. Hey, they would have if he was available. They would.
Luke Farrell, baby. Luke Farrell.
I was watching a simulation. I was like, touchdown, Luke Farrell. I was like, okay, I don't know about that.
I said, yeah, right. He's in the backfield blocking the extra edge rusher off the end. Man, did you happen to see what George Kittle said about this season on the Rich Eisen show?
I did. You want to tell everybody?
I think it's a great quote. I'll just sum it up in a way. They were asking him, like, what are we expecting from San Francisco this season in 2025? And he said, violence. And that to me, like that sends chills down my spine. Like having everybody there early, and we've made so much about the appearances and the participation of all the veterans and everyone being healthy and all that stuff. I just think we are going to see a reinvigorated Niners team. And obviously you can talk a lot of trash and you can hype up what you could be and you have to go out there and prove it. But I think anybody banking on San Francisco having back-to-back bad seasons is pretty foolish. Like there was so much context that went into why they were bad last year compared to just that being who they were. And this year, albeit they have to prove themselves and they're going to have young guys step up and need to be bigger pieces in year two and whatnot. But I just think when you have motivated veteran players that are superstars, it changes how you play and how much you can win football games. And when you have your star tight end, your future Hall of Fame tight end saying, expect violence from San Francisco this year, and you bring back Robert Saleh, you bring in Brant Boyer, you replace some key guys that are often injured like Dre Greenlaw, Nufunga, and whatnot. You go and acquire Bryce Huff, and you kind of replenish a defensive line. That makes you really excited, and the expectations continue to go up and up and up for me. It was almost every single time somebody talks, because it always like gets me saying, okay, like they're back. And it feels weird saying it this early, but the intuition I have is that there's not going to be a year two lull for this roster and this regime.
Especially if they make a trade to get Shamar Stewart. Oh!
Show's over. Stream's over. Cut it right
It
now.
could happen, dude. It could happen, and it would be phenomenal. Phenomenal if they did. You wouldn't give up a day two pick, Robert Beal, and a couple of bags of chips?
Would the Bengals do that? No.
Maybe if it gets nasty enough. What they should do is they should bring over Buster Posey and go, hey, call the Bengals right now and see if you can work that magic you did with Rafael Devers.
Man.
That would be something. Imagine having Shamar Stewart. That would mean that you had 2 first-round picks in this year's draft. That would be phenomenal.
I just can't imagine being the Bengals and their fans and being like, oh, we're going to pay Trey Hendrickson. We may not. Oh, we're going to draft Shamar Stewart and sign him. You may not.
Poverty franchises. It's a terrible look. And real quick before we go, here is the Madden 26 rating. And yes, San Francisco is ranked 92. I can bring it up on this list right here. They are the top ranked team next to the Chiefs at 92.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they have talent.
It shouldn't be that high though.
I'm telling you, dude.
But also, okay, time out. Why the Dolphins at 89?
Tyreek Hill. That's why.
Like, the Eagles have one of the best rosters in football, and they're 87.
Because they're slow. Derrick Henry's slow.
They were the best team in the league last year. What happened?
Because Lamar Jackson, when it comes down to it, he's going to throw a pick.
What the heck?
Actually, no. He'll throw a pass to himself like he did last postseason. And then that'll be the highlight of his postseason.
Okay, can you explain to me how the Saints are a higher rated team than the Chargers and Rams, who were both playoff teams last year?
I don't know. I don't make these rankings for Madden.
The Broncos are a 79.
79. That's all Bo Nix right there. The Patriots are an 80.
Championship game last year.
The Commanders are 78. What?
We got Laramie Tunsil and Deebo Samuel. What is happening?
I don't know. Maybe someone should call EA Sports and say, hey, man, the fuck are you guys smoking? But
they need to end the EA license today. Madden has been dog shit for a decade and a half. End it today. Let somebody else have it. That's the ratings they're putting out. My God.
And so, with that being said, I will start to do some Madden simulation games coming up, so get ready for that.
Okay. It's not a bad game anymore. We love Madden.
We love Madden. We love it. No, just something to do in the off season. But Sterling, thank you so much for coming on here. Where can they find you and all your content?
Yeah, they can follow me on social media at 49ers.access is the Instagram, at 49ersaccess is the Twitter as well. You can also go to the podcast page or the YouTube page and subscribe and share the 49er Access podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And you can also follow me on TikTok at 49ers Access. Make it simple for you. Always the same username, and you can find me on almost every single social media platform.
There we go. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to both of our channels, especially this one, because if you're watching it on this channel, make sure that you follow us on X and all social medias. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a member over on Patreon. The link is down below in the description. If not, just hit refresh and it'll be on there. Or if you want to support the channel in a different way, you can go to my website, which is nicotina.net, and there are memberships available under DreArea Sports. So definitely check those out. But the Patreon's the easiest one to get to. Everyone goes to Patreon. Look up DreArea Sports, and you'll find it right there. Tiers start as low as $2 to help support this channel and keep the lights on, keep the AC running. Otherwise, I may be streaming the show from my bedroom, which would not be a very pleasant sight. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be live again next week on Wednesday for the DreArea Sports Show with Drew and Dre, and whatever else stream I set up for the rest of the week. Sterling, thank you so much once again, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Niners. Be cool. Stay cool. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
You're listening to the DreArea Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
The DreArea Sports Show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And we are also brought to you by Taryn Roy, the SEO Optimizer. If you're looking to boost your YouTube channel, then check out the SEO Optimizer. Use promo code DreArea Sports to start your free trial today. Power Brand Systems. If you're looking to build a website for your small business or YouTube channel, then check out Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase at Power Brand Systems.